Look, I get Kate Steinle. I get MS-13. Okay, I lived on the border for 35 years in San Diego. I was a reporter. I used to do a lot of stories on the border. I used to do a lot of stories across the border in Tijuana. After I was done being a reporter and I had my own PR marketing business, one of my buddies got a job as one of the top guys in the immigration department in San Diego. And so I could just go down to the immigration department and walk in, you know, walk past the secretary, walk past the locked door, go in and sit down and just say, hey, I'm down here, what's up? What's going on, fellas? Where are we going tonight? And, you know, more often than not, we'd end up in one of the local watering holes and I'd hear the war stories, what's going on at the border. I've been down there 1,000,000 times. So I understand, you know, I understand borders, language, culture. I understand how many people were flooding across the border and how that was so offensive to so many people that we could just disregard this rule of law. I get all that 100%. What I don't get is why so many Hispanic people, who whether they're new immigrants or whether they're recent immigrants or whether they're, you know, second, third, fourth generation immigrants from Mexico or south of the border, why so many of them are so eager to cast their lot in with this ridiculous construction people, when we hear on TV a lot, mostly from black people, talking about how people of color, black people and Hispanic people, how people of color are victims of white racism, relentless white racism. So in my 35 years experience in San Diego, I did not see the baked-in criminality in Hispanic culture. I did not see the celebration of violence. I did not see the celebration of murder. I did not see the celebration of guns, drugs, money, bitches, murder. I didn't see the obscenity and the vulgarity celebrated. More often than not, what I saw were hardworking people, and culture hates when people say this. More often than not, what I did see were hardworking people with good families, nice families, and they just, you know, they just wanted to do what everybody used to want to do in this country, was just, you know, work, save, invest, take care of their families. I get it, okay? And so that's why when I see these stories up in LA, like, we've actually talked about this story before, but there's something new going on. Big story out of LA, how a bunch of black people are targeting the Hispanic street vendors. You know, the guys who just push these carts around. And what I don't get is why reporters, why Hispanic people, why the activists, why they give black people such a pass. Don't get that. Let's watch this story, and and then we're going to remind people of all the times we here have talked about on this channel and in my books how Hispanics, new immigrants, are targets of black criminality all over the country. This isn't just Colin talking. This is Colin documenting it here on this channel, on my YouTube channel, but especially in my book. Don't make the black kids angry.
At the scene of the attack, fellow street vendors as well as friends and the LA Street Vendor Campaign all gathering, you see behind me here at the scene of the attack in a show of support and to make a call on City Hall. Just take a look. Pedro Reyes was brutally beaten in that vicious attack on March 18th. The 54-year-old ended up hospitalized in critical condition with severe injuries to his face. Now, surveillance video captured the attack on Reyes and two other vendors who were setting up for the day. It happened early in the morning. Police say 4 to 5 men and 1 woman got out of 2 vehicles and suddenly attacked, beating and robbing those 3 vendors. Reyes suffering the most serious injuries. Now, the LA Street Vendor Campaign is calling on City Hall to create a legal sidewalk vendors program for the city. They say that the city council's failure to do so and to bring those vendors into the formal economy is putting them at risk of potential harassment and assault.
We want them to hear our voices, and we want them to to take action. Actually, like, how many crimes do they more to happen, you know? Because right now it happened to Pedro Reyes. Tomorrow, who is going to be the next victim? I mean, how many victims are we going to go for them to take action?
And that is the concern. They say there have been numerous street vendors who have been robbed, and they say that it's time that the city steps up and offers them protection, but also offers them a chance to be part of the city's economy. As for Pedro Reyes, his family tells us he is back home and recovering, but say it is going to take months before he's back to being 100%, if that ever happens.
And so not one reporter is going to look in the camera and say, yes, this is part of a pattern of black people targeting Hispanics all over the country. And the reasons are well known. It's not a mystery. It's not one of these, well, we're trying to investigate the motivation. No, it's because, you know, they have cash and they won't go to the cops. You know, it was amazing. We saw those 6 black people get out of their car and attack this guy going to work at 5 a.m. with pushing his cart, selling these frozen fruit bars for $1 or $2, maybe $3 at the most. How much cash did he have on him? How much cash does a street vendor selling something for $1 a piece have at 5 a.m.? Hardly any. I don't know, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. And so we saw this car full of black people come up and target this guy and beat him almost to death. It happened to 3 people in a short amount of time. And it was really sadistic, right? It was way past just, yeah, let's get some money because my sister hasn't, you know, eaten for 2 weeks. Marla Newburn used to talk about this a lot, not just about black criminality, but about the sadistic, intensely violent, psychotic nature of the violence. So you get 6 people robbing a dude at 5 a.m. How much money do you think he possibly had? So you split it up 6 ways. What, everybody get 10, 15 bucks? So that's not about the money. That's about the thrill. That's about the robbery, that's about the violation, that's just about the thrill of beating the piss out of somebody for no other reason other than they can. And no, and so this reporter's going to pretend this doesn't happen before? A reporter's going to pretend that maybe white kids do this too to these Hispanic vendors? A reporter's going to pretend that black people do not target Hispanics in LA, in New Jersey, New York, all over the country? They don't know, they don't care, maybe they don't know, I don't know. We know, I know, why don't they know? That's our job. We documented the hell out of this and don't make the black kids angry. And you know, I don't like to, you know, most of the time that's kind of obvious. If you want to get up to speed on this, you got to read Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. But most of the time I'm not sitting here telling you that. I'm telling you that now. If you want us to get document it with lots and lots of links of how this is happening all over the country, just go to Don't Make the Black Kids Angry at Amazon and get it and read it. You'll be a little less eager to start talking about people of color. Black people are at war with Hispanic people. They have been for a long time. But what about the Hispanic people in that news report? Why weren't they opening up about what they knew to be the case? That this was not an isolated thing. We just did a story about this, was it in El Paso? It was funny in El Paso because the same thing happened in El Paso. There was a story about a bunch of black people targeting Hispanics on the street over a period of a few weeks. Lots of people got hurt. Typical people, people with families, kids, whatever, civilians. Then the next day, a cop goes, in the same town, I think it was El Paso, a cop goes to El Paso, goes to arrest a kid. The mom shows up. The mom starts, interfering with the arrest, calling the cop all sorts of bad names, threatening him, the whole works, the whole damn 9 yards. He arrested her, and that became an occasion where all of a sudden in El Paso, we had to have this major commission created to investigate this incredible police abuse of black people in El Paso. Just the same day as they were talking about how black people are targeting Hispanics. That's how crazy this is now. That's how insane it is. And I don't know why Hispanic activists like that are so willing just to ignore what every single Hispanic person in Southern California and the rest of the country knows, that Hispanic people are targets of black criminality. Everybody knows that, okay? I mean, could it be they're just not saying it because they don't want to make the black kids angry?